Well, it's another day. I'm gonna spend a few hours in the shop. I have left. I'm gonna do the second wall, get it framed up for the drawer, and then perhaps in this segment I'm gonna get the front done up as well. But stay tuned. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Realistic Outdoors. Thanks. Okay, that's it for tonight. Just ran out of time. I almost made a big mistake. I was framing in the back end for my box for the slide for my kitchen slide, which would be a gigantic box that you'd have to crawl over when you open the door. So anyway, luckily I found that in time. So I framed out the front here for the box. So the top piece will be the drawer slide, and the bottom piece will be a little extra storage that'll run along the whole front. I can slide boots or whatever under there, or whatever I want to hide. Some extra clothes, whatever. But this will go all the way across the other side, and it will be the kitchen. So I'm not putting a galley on this because I forego that for inside space. So this will be an actual full drawer that pulls out with storage inside, and the barbecue will slide out of that, and then lift up the lids and get some pots and pans. So everything will be in there that I need to cook with. So that's pretty cool. And I didn't want to go any much further because I just ordered new windows. I had some windows in mind over here, but I decided they weren't going to work for me. So I found some really cool windows on Amazon, which I'll send a link to at the end of this program. They were pretty inexpensive, so I'm hoping they're as nice as they looked. So I just want to wait till they come in, and then I'll frame them out, because there'll be a window here, 21 by 12, and the same on the other side, 21 by 12. So they won't be exactly even, and that's fine. You can't see both sides of the trailer at the same time, and it's more important to me where the actual light is. So anyway, they'll be within 4 or 5 inches. Not that big of a deal. So I just have to insulate, but I'm going to wait again until I frame it. And so probably by the weekend, maybe shortly after, once the winters come, I'll frame these up. I'll stand them up and prop them. I'll put 2 joists across the top to just make it a little more solid so I can continue to work. Then I'll build the front. And so hopefully after the weekend, I should have the sides up and the front on and the windows framed out and ready to go. All right, well, thanks for hanging out. And again, if you guys have any questions, just post them. Or if you're wondering why the heck I did that, maybe you could tell me, because I have no idea. Oh, one thing I was going to point out is I used to have a really nice cabinet saw, but I wasn't using it, so I sold it. And now I have a project that I needed it for. So I just wanted to show you guys that you can make amazing cuts just using a handsaw or not an actual handsaw, but a circular saw with a good sharp blade and a very nice straight edge. So I've taken the time to measure extra off the distance that it'll sit off my fence, clamp it down, and my cuts have been absolutely perfect and true. In fact, some of them are better than actually ripping a full 8-foot sheet on a table saw, because sometimes they bind. And so actually I've been pretty impressed. So a good chop saw and a good circular saw, and that's all you need to build this. You don't have to go crazy. I will use my jigsaw, perhaps, maybe my router, I'm not sure. I think most people have jigsaws. They're pretty expensive and you don't have to buy a whole lot of bits for them. So I might just use the jigsaw for the windows and the pass through, just to limit the amount of tools that are needed. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Hey guys, welcome back. Realistic Outdoors. I'm Scott. We're going to carry on with the mini camper today. I'm just waiting for the heat to heat up. It's cold in here again. So just got off work and I'm perplexed slightly because I'm not working off of plans like you guys will be able to if you upload my plans once they're available. So I'm having to do a lot of guessing. So I'm spending a lot of time standing here staring at stuff, trying to figure out how things are going to go together and then make sure it doesn't interfere with something that I had planned down the road. So I'm going to stand these two walls up, pin them up. I'm going to build temporary truss, just maybe two, just to get it solid. I'm going to fix it to the floor, probably permanent. And then I'm going to start building the front and see how that's going to go. I don't actually know how I'm putting the front piece together or not, but I know I need these walls out of the way in which to do it, and I need them up so I can measure. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to leave this in time lapse, and then I'll stop when I get to that point, and we'll see where we're at, and I'll tell you what I figured out, what I've discovered, and what I shouldn't have done. Anyway, again, if you guys still have any comments, questions, please ask. I will upload this again on the weekend, and so you'll be 2 weekends in and I should have mostly the box done. So anyway, thanks for hanging out and we'll talk again soon, I hope. Okay, so I squared up the walls here with just some temporary shims, just to keep it. You can't see the top one from there. I'll just turn it up a little bit. Let's turn that up. You guys see it? There you go. So I've got this top brace up here, and I've got this all squared up so I could do some measurements. And one thing I discovered, because I chose to go with little skinnier walls than the 2x2. Fastening it to the floor, I don't want to split the 1-inch pine. Even if I use a Craig pocket hole jig, I'm gonna probably not get a big enough purchase on it, even though I'm gonna glue them down. So what I've been mulling over is just running some 2x2s around the outside and down on the bottom here, and probably one here, so that I have something solid to fix to when I set the walls in. So I don't have any 2x2s with me, and I'm not running my 2x4s in the saw. So I have to wait till I get a few more 2x2s to carry on, but I think that's how I'm going to fix the floor to the walls. And I mean, I don't mind foregoing this little bit of wood that's going to be, you know, on the floor. I'll start my siding from there up, so it'll be even less, maybe, you know, maybe 1 3/4 inches total. So I'm not too worried about that. I mean, it's not like I'm walking around in this trailer. It's basically just a little scooch in, jump in bed, and have a sleep. So I think I'm gonna leave it there for tonight, and maybe I'll just stand here and scratch my head a little bit more, like literally and figuratively, just to make sure I'm not missing a step before I get there. So I still have to build the box across here that'll house the kitchen, and yeah, I still got to do some mulling around here. Some of this may not work, so I'm going to scratch my brain for a little bit. As I go, I've been going in the house, documenting and sketching and doing out plans. and then I have to go back in and erase those plans and then do what I decided later. So eventually I'll have a decent set of plans with some measurements and lumber costs, etc. So anyway, that's it for tonight for videoing. I'm going to just scratch my head for a little while and see if I can get anywhere. Anyway, again, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, hey guys, welcome back. I'm Scott from Realistic Outdoors, out in the shop again. It's now the weekend. I get to do a little more work. I'm pretty excited. So over the last couple of days, since I got this up and we last spoke, I have been mulling over the best way to attach the wall bottoms to the floor. And because I'm still trying to use as much recycled lumber as possible, I don't want to have a gigantic board down the bottom so that it's a trip hazard, because unlike most of these mini trailers that you'll see online, the whole bottom is the bed. There's really no walking space. And the way I've designed this one, being that I have a bunk, it's an RV bunk that it's 72 inches long and it's only couch width. So I have this much walking space down my trailer. So during day use, I have a couch and some space to move in and out. And because I've done that and tried to get as much space as I could, I don't have these mounted on the outside of the floor like some of the other videos that I've seen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 1x4 pallet wood that I'm getting. I've planed some off. You can see a little bit of smoke in here. I've planed some up so they're really nice. I'm going to glue and screw this to the bottom of this 1x3 here. So that's going to give me, or 1x4, sorry. So that's going to give me a 2x4 along the bottom on the inside. Now I still haven't put the wall finishing up. So what that's going to give me is half of this space, because I'm going to use pine. I might use tongue and groove pine, which is about I think it's 3/16, 4/16, or a quarter. I think it's about a quarter. So it's going to sit proud on top of this piece of wood, which I'm going to stain, and it's going to be like a baseboard finish. That's how it'll look. So one of the reasons I've decided to go that route was, even though I'm going to finish the bottom of this with a Varathane or some type of waterproofing, maybe just Thompson water seal, I'm not sure. I'm going to use stick-on either vinyl, fake wood, or something like that. I'm not sure. And if the paneling or pine that is in here gets wet from stuff I bring in that's whatever wet, then it'll end up rotting and being gross. If I have a single pine board along the bottom that's treated, so this pine board, that'll be the one that's exposed to the drips and stuff at the bottom of the trailer. Also, if there ends up being any leaks from the inside for whatever reason, it's the 1x4 that's sitting in the water. So those are two kind of factors, the reason I've gone that route. It's actually quite stable. I can't believe I have 2 boards plus the cross bracings, and this is quite stable. So once I have the front wall up and the trusses running across, I think this is going to be super stable. And I think I'm going to either build some hangers, or I'm actually just going to run the trusses inside just by attaching them through the outside, pre-drilling the holes, gluing and screwing. I was going to use my router and channel them in, but I don't know if it's really worth that much effort. I'm not building a one for a competition. I just want to be able to stay away from the bears for a night. So anyway, that's where I'm going to go from today, and hopefully from this weekend I'm going to have this wall up and maybe some trusses across the back, and then I can actually start pulling in and drilling and prepping for the wiring. All right, thanks for joining. I'm going to put this into time lapse, and we'll see you soon. Taking a small break, starting to sweat. This 10-minute break is brought to you by Red Racer Super Solar. Cheers. So, if you're following along, 2 things. One is, I ran a double chamfer on the front of this piece of plywood so that it would meet up nicely with this squared end. And then I ran I was just going to run a standard chamfer on the top, but measured twice, cut wrong. I cut it 3 inches long. Well, I guess that was better than cutting it 3 inches short. So you probably see me run a piece of wood across here, and then I cut it. Then I used my my electric planer to run a chamfer on the top so that it meets up with the flat top board nicely. And then some of you are wondering, hey, you didn't frame the front of these. Good eye. Because I was running this overhang, running inside, I want the framing to actually butt up against the framing on the inside here. And if I tried to do it, I'm not that great at math and woodworking, it'd probably been loose. So I'm going to fix these boards into place like I did, glued and screwed, and now I'm going to go on the inside and build the framing nice and tight up against the other so that I can screw them together, creating a nice tight edge. I'm going to move the camera for the rest of this finished building on the back side, obviously, because you won't see nothing but the front of this. So I'm going to move that, and then I'm going to start framing the inside. Anyways, come along. I got a box. A wet box, but I got a box. Okay, well, I got the front put in, screwed in, glued in. I put a lot of pocket holes. It's like a Craig's pocket jig, so basically you're coming in at a 30-degree angle to the wood, and you pre-drill it. And that's how I was fastening all the boards to the sideboards, so that way you don't split the boards, and you can get a good purchase on the original board into the destination board. So I just threw a couple sheets on top here just so I can kind of get used to ducking and seeing what's going on in there. It's kind of dark in there, I can see here on the camera, but so anyway, it's framed, it's solid, it's glued. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I got to pick up some more insulation tomorrow, but I'm not sure I'm in a hurry for that, because next step is I'm going to put some rafters in, or some trusses. Well, I guess they're not really trusses, but the roof supports. They're just going to be straight across. They're going to be the 1x4s on edge. And then I'll have to frame in for a fan, which I haven't ordered yet. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself now. The windows are on their way. I'm hoping they're here in the next week or so that I can cut them in and get that finished framed, and then I can finish insulating. And then perhaps I'll be ready to finish the inside. I still have to run the wiring. So next week, while I'm waiting for everything to come, I'm going to run all the wiring. I'm going to mount trailer lights to the inside of the roof because I don't want them on the trailer anymore. Every time these trailers go out and the gravel from the snow on the road, it just smashes all my lights. I end up replacing them every year. So I'm going to put some LEDs up top, and I'm going to wire this pod itself for lights. The only thing I ever use the trailer for is utility around the yard, so I don't really need to worry about the lights around the yard. So I'm going to wire them for them, and then I'm going to put on the door side, I'm going to put a door light, and I'm going to put another light facing the kitchen drawer that comes out. I'm trying to debate on whether I want to just have a socket that's available out there that's switched from the inside, so I can connect some other LEDs that I usually run out, through the trees and stuff to kind of light up the camp at night. So I still might do that. I have to run the 110 volts and the fuse block, so I still have to find a spot for that. So the wiring itself, that's why I wanted to get to this spot as quick as I did, because the wiring itself is going to take me, I'm going to say I'm going to go on 2 weeks. Putting in the panel, the charge unit, the switching unit, which I haven't even decided where's a good spot for that yet. I'm going to have to bring the bed down, put the bed in here, kind of get a grasp of where I'll be sleeping so that I can reach the lights. And then I got 4 pot lights. They're on their way. They're LED flush mount. They're super bright, and I got them off Amazon. Now all the parts that I've been using in here, I will have links to. And I know a lot of the other guys put links to stuff that they found, but I'll tell you what, after they post these videos, all the stuff that's in those links are sold out. So I will put them in there, so the first bunch of you who order that stuff, it'll be there for you. And after that, then you have to do what I did and just kind of keep searching until you find something you like personally. So this is going to have a 110 volt receptacle on this side where I'm going to plug in my generator to power the 110, so that when I'm out charging and filming, I can bring my laptop and then charge my batteries for my cameras and stuff. And maybe, I don't know, I'll bring a microwave and a popcorn popper. I don't know, margarita maker. But I'm just kidding. But so I'll have the 110 input. I'm also going to put a vent on the side, which is going to be a floor wall input vent where I'm going to connect my diesel heater. So I'll have my diesel heater out, and I just have to put the strap on, or the hose onto it, and give it a twist tight. And I have a remote control for it, so I can turn it on and off without coming out here. But I'm going to order an extra wire set for it. Not now, but maybe down the road, so that I can control the thermostat from the inside, so then I can adjust it high or low. But I normally sleep in a tent out there with a decent sleeping bag, and I'm not too cold. So just having this box insulated and being able to keep the heat in a little bit better, I'm not even sure I'm going to need the heat other than to maybe dry off some clothes or whatever. But anyway, that's it for today, Friday. I'm not sure the date today, the 14th, 15th, probably the 15th. I'm going to start wiring this weekend, and after I finish the roof truss, and I'm going to do that as another segment. So I can post this up probably Saturday night. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it very much. It helps us out. And yeah, if you got some head scratchers, like why the hell did he do that? Please ask, because I don't know, and maybe I can figure it out. But a lot of this is build. I know what I wanted. I'm not a carpenter. I just have to kind of sit, scratch my head every once in a while, and figure out how I'm going to do it. But anyway, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited. It's pretty solid, and once this is fiberglass, it's going to be one tough cookie. All right, thanks for hanging out. Scott from Real Estate Outdoors. Thanks. Well, the trusses are all up. I'm gonna call them trusses, although they're just roof supports because they're not actual trusses, but they're all up, glued and screwed. We have I have an opening 14 by 14 for a fan near the back. I didn't want it up in the center. Yeah, I just have a whole bunch of stuff that's going up there, and I didn't really want it up front. So it's near the back, and then I can work on it if I have to right at the back. I'll tell you one thing. Am I ever glad that I made this 5 foot instead of going with the 4 foot to cheap out a bit? Man, just moving around in there and the 5 foot, the difference in the 4 foot, holy smokes. Like, I mean, it's difference in crawling in a snow cave or actually getting into a small camper. So I'm able to move around okay in there, and that's huge relief because I was actually thinking 5 foot wasn't big enough, but looks to be good enough. I gave it the FA test, which is technical specs for fat ass. I was hanging from it, so seems pretty solid. I can't move it, so, and the glue hasn't dried, so I'm pretty stoked about how that's going. So my next step is I have to prep for the wires, and I want to prep some boards in the bottom, probably some 12 by 12 half-inch plywood, because I'm going to mount some anchors in there with some eye bolts or some eyes on the outside that I can hook some, what do you call those chummies? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Turnbuckle, sorry. So I can hook a turnbuckle to latch it to the trailer nice and easy, so I don't have to strap it down or anything like that. And I don't want to put anything permanent through, and it'd be nice just to have a quick hook, turn, and nice and solid. So I still have those to do, but I think that's all going to be part of the next section, which will be finishing the inside. So I'm just going to end this from this. The frame is up. Most of the stuff is done, and I'm going to edit this and get it uploaded for you guys. And because I'm looking forward to some questions, hopefully you guys have some. And again, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm excited to move to the wiring. Electrician's my deal, so I'm not a carpenter, I'm an electrician, so I'm excited about this part. All right, thanks.